Hello, I am Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, CEO of C-Suite Women's Network, where I help women and a few good men to be the CEOs of their lives so they can be better CEOs of their businesses. And I am pleased to continue the series Being a Badass CEO, releasing yourself from the traps that trap you in mediocrity. And in the previous two sessions, we've talked about how sometimes you need to give the middle finger instead of the peace sign. No, don't flip anybody off, but don't let anyone rob you of your peace, and don't live a script written for you by someone else. And in the previous segment, we talked about how you just need to F it and stop trying to fit in. Embrace your extra to transcend the ordinary and be the authentic you. Well, today I want to help you to do it till you're satisfied. You know, a lot of times we are afraid of the dreams that we have for ourselves. We're afraid because they're so big that we're afraid that we can't do it. Now, I personally ascribe to one of my personal principles is this. God has not given me anything as that put me in any situation where he's not given me the ability to do it. All I need to do is trust him, be aligned with his will, and just do it. And this has given me a spirit of courageousness, a spirit of courage, a spirit of adventure that has enabled me to create a beautiful life. My life is not always perfect. Everything doesn't always work out, but you know what? I am doing it. I'm doing this thing called life. And it all takes a decision to just do it. You know, Nike got it right. Nike says just do it. Now, of course, it's not that simple. You don't just go out there and just do things willy-nilly. You get a plan together because after all, you are a CEO. And what do CEOs do? They come up with a plan. They develop a strategy. They work with a team to execute that strategy, and they inspire others to carry out the vision. So, yes, you can do it. You are a CEO, and you don't need to think that because what you want to do scares you that you shouldn't do it. In fact, if the dreams and aspirations that you have for yourself are so big that they do scare you, then you're on the right track and you just need to do it until you're satisfied. Do it until you can. And sometimes, we are afraid to do things because no one else has done them. And I remember when I was a senior in college, I went to a small HBCU in Mississippi, Tougaloo College, and I was deciding, where I wanted to apply to law school. And most of my classmates were deciding to go to University of Mississippi and other places that were rather regional in location. But I decided, you know what? I'm going to apply to Harvard. And at that time, no one had been to Harvard Law School from Tougaloo College in 20 years. So no one else was doing it. And you know what? I was like, well, even though no one else is doing it this year and no one else has done it in the past 20 years, that doesn't mean that I can't do it. So I was like, the worst thing that can happen is I turn this application in and they tell me no. But the best thing that can happen is I turn this application in and they tell me yes. And they did. They did. So, you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Just because no one else is doing it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And in fact, if no one else is doing it and you have a passion, commitment, desire, talents, and skills to do it, that means you are the one that should be doing it. So just do it. Think of it like this. Somebody has to do it. Why can't it be me? And the thing is this, when you are trying to stretch yourself beyond mediocrity and into excellence, you're going to fail sometimes and you're going to take a risk. But again, the worst thing that can happen is that you try and you don't succeed and you learn great lessons and you show yourself something that you could do. But you know what? That's not really true. The worst thing that can happen is that you have a burning desire to do something and you never do anything about it because you're too scared to do it. Don't be trapped in mediocrity. Be a badass and go out there and do it. You know, Sometimes all it helps is working with the right person, having the best team, having access to the best resources and tools that enable you to bring out that that which is already in you and that which you are already capable of. It just hasn't been refined and brought to the surface. And you know what? I would love to help you be the badass CEO that you deserve and desire to be. So why don't you go over to www.discovertheceoinyou.com. Again, that's www.discovertheceoinyou.com and schedule a free strategy session, and let's learn how to help you do that thing you've had a burning desire to do so you can be the CEO, the badass CEO that you were always destined to be. You know, my mission at C Suite Women's Network is to help women to be the CEOs of their lives, to help them to make the decisions that yield the life they desire and deserve. Because I believe every woman deserves to decide to create the life that she desires. And it's all within your reach. You just need to do it. This is Dr. Stephanie D. Barnes, CEO of C Suite Women's Network, and I am pleased to wrap up today's session of being a badass CEO, releasing yourself from the traps that trap you in mediocrity. Because you weren't meant to be mediocre, you were meant to be excellent, and in fact, you were meant to be a badass. And I look forward to seeing you in your C-suite.